fuck, we forgot to talk about Zorro's mask. Zorro.
Zorro. He's Zorro.
No,
now.
Zorro.
About time.
I really thought, like, what Van Damme movie has him wearing a mask? And I was like, man, no, I can't think of them any.
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's the black mask, like, oh, fuck, right. The fucking obvious one. Like, he's gone by Van Damme so long, I really didn't know what what type of mask they were going to give the character called Zorro.
Right, yeah.
Damn it!
Yep, perfect, yep. Episode 437 of the TV Dudes, recorded May 31st, 2023. Primo. This week, the end of a lot of big TV, including Ted Lasso, Barry, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and Succession. Now we're going to talk about most of that. But first, we've got our thoughts on Freevee's prize great comedy Primo showing on Prime. Before we get to all that, though, I'm Randy.
I'm Les.
And I'm Nick.
And we're the TV Dudes. We are on the cusp of ATX TV Festival. HBO Max has become Max. Apparently, Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof were shitbags on the set of Lost. There's a lot going on, y'all.
Man, that Lindelof news is dropping when he's about to be at this conference talking WGA stuff.
Oh man. Yeah,
so the ATX panel this year is a lot of deep industry people, and like Lindelof is there on the WGA side along with a couple other people, and then like Universal scripted, NBC scripted, and a couple other scripted presidents and co-presidents are going to be there. And there's a part of me that hopes that like we can get like a foam sword LARP fight or
Rumble.
Just some, yeah, like I don't care how it doesn't have to be a table discussion. Like
fake
however they
sumo
want to
wrestlers.
settle it.
You know when they put the sumo suits on?
Yeah, those inflatable suits.
Yes.
Yeah, like it doesn't have to be talking it out. Like, but they're all going to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, what if ATX TV Fest, they just pivoted and they just locked them all in a room and be like,
right?
We're not doing the festival doesn't happen until you get out here with a deal.
Until somebody's fucking game champ.
Oh, we're going to talk about Game Champ.
2 men enter, 1 deal leaves.
I didn't think there were any knives. There's always a knife.
So next week we will have our thoughts on ATX Fest. This week though, let's start off with our appetizers. I guess I'll kick it off. I think it is my turn. Not that we're really taking turns.
Are there turns on this?
There aren't. Sometimes I remember. I think when Kyle was running things, he ran a little tighter ship than I do.
Kyle was running things at one point?
Well, you know, he had the whole
the baseball stat thing for a minute.
The stats, all that.
Oh wow, okay.
He had numbers. I didn't understand them, but he had a whole
like the formulas changed a lot. I didn't follow it all, but it was a lot of math, and I felt it was right because of it.
Do you feel like maybe he was running like a Ponzi scheme for TV ratings? He was just like moving things around because we didn't know what the numbers were.
I do.
I don't know.
I don't. It's like crypto. Like I don't understand how this scam works. I'm just going to stay away from it.
Yeah.
I just love that you replaced Kyle with another Les. Like, not really. Am I different? I'm younger.
You don't like F1 racing. So, you know. So I watched.
Yeah, Nick just lied in his interview straight up. Just went through a list of things. Love F1.
I banked on my shot that you guys not knowing F1 terms, and that was a correct.
You could say anything and I'd be like, yeah, it sounds like racing. So I watched 2 more episodes of Deep Space Nine, season 7. I'm parceling it out a little bit because I know it's almost done. It's really, really good. They're definitely deep into the war and bad shit is happening, and it's really, really good show. It reminds me of what I liked about Babylon 5. I am continuing to make my way through my Good Place rewatch. Watched a couple more episodes of season 2. I watched Top Chef, which is getting towards its ending, and Top Chef has reached the point which it always reaches for me, which is I'm sure the chefs are all good, but all the people I liked are gone now, and I don't give a shit who wins. Which happens every season. They're like, I know these are probably the best chefs, but the people I actually liked as people have all been eliminated.
When me and Les were watching Physical 100 and Sexy Yama got out in the second from final round, we were like, I mean, I guess we'll see who wins, but
like, I mean, he's standing over there rooting. I'll feel bad if I stop, but like, yeah, my guy's out.
And we were gonna talk about FUBAR, Arnold Schwarzenegger coming to TV for the first time.
This is his first time on TV?
It's the first time doing a TV series, yeah. And this seemed the pitch for it was basically very True Lies-esque. He's a retired spy. He's an older spy. His ex-wife, he thinks he's gonna get back with his ex-wife after he retires from the field. He's got one last field mission. He goes out and finds out that his daughter, surprise, is a spy as well, and they now have to work together. And it sounds very, True Lies later on. I'm like, well, they already fucked up True Lies on CBS, so maybe
Sure.
getting Arnold, they could do it. No, the writing was terrible. Schwarzenegger, and I realize he's old, but he fucking looks old. He moves like he's old, and
Sure.
the cut between him and like his stunt doubles are so painful. And the dialogue is weak. He's got a little bit of that sort of right wing '80s shit right in his dialogue.
Mm.
Um, I didn't like his character. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it was clever. I didn't think the acting was very good. It was just a misfire on every level.
Look, I think we can all agree that as far as, early career, still like Schwarzenegger wiped the floor with Stallone.
Absolutely.
But Stallone is having a better twilight of his career.
Yeah, Tulsa King's great. This is not Tulsa King. This is not even True Lies. It's bad. It's real bad, and
Oh,
it's
you mean
so
not
bad.
current True Lies, the one we
No,
watched? Oh
I mean
shit.
the one we watched. This is
Ugh.
not
Oh,
as good as
wow.
that. It is.
Yikes.
I mean, it is not as good as that.
Oh boy.
Because at least
Either
that
that.
had some chemistry in some of the characters.
Wonder if Arnold Schwarzenegger was like, "Oh yeah, let's just make True Lies." Like, yeah, Arnold,
Yeah.
we sold the rights to that there's already what?
Yeah, it's
Although, does Elijah Dushku actually play his daughter?
no, that would be great.
Damn it!
No, it's somebody else. Yeah. This is so bad. I'm gonna cancel my Netflix.
Okay.
I mean,
you were
I
doing that already.
I cancel my Netflix anyway. It has nothing to do with it. But it definitely was like if Fubar was good, I might have been like, oh well, maybe I'll stick around.
It
Maybe
made you
there's some good
feel.
Netflix
It made
stuff.
you feel better about the decision.
Made me feel really good about my decision.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
I don't know if y'all saw Netflix change their password sharing rules. They've been threatening to do it. They fucking did it. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really share my password that much, but I, my kid occasionally watches it in Boston.
Well-
My parents occasionally watch it here in Austin, and I'm like, I don't want the hassle of this. This is fucking bullshit. I don't watch enough Netflix for me to be worth the expense of Netflix anymore.
Well, and that's the line they crossed. Like people have had like Randy, you and I have both had Netflix since like April of 01. Like 24 years.
2001. Yeah.
Like I had Netflix before 9/11.
Yeah.
And we've all basically forgotten we have it of like, no, but it's Netflix. It's like the backbone concrete foundation of television at this point.
Yeah.
And they finally crossed a line that of making people go, well, wait, what do I watch that's actually on Netflix? Is there a Stranger Things right now that I'm watching?
Yeah.
Well, the thing they don't like, it's not a principal thing. People are not canceling it because of it's because it's now a cost benefit analysis of,
Mhm.
oh wait,
I could be turning that back on like I do other subscriptions.
me and my
Yeah.
family share this, but if only two people, only me and another person are using it, and neither of us are using, like, you'd keep it on because there's 5 people using the fucking
Yep.
password.
That
Honestly,
was
and
the
like you don't know which
calculation, yeah.
cousin you're about to fuck over by turning off Netflix in the middle of
That's the
their...
thing. I my kid messaged me about watching something on Netflix, and I'd be like, you're gonna be on your own. But
Yeah.
it was the 1-2-3 punch for me. It was the one, and this is the main thing. Their content's just not as good as it used to be. They just aren't producing hits, and they keep fucking canceling things. They canceled like a dozen or a half dozen things that I wanted endings for, including Santa Clarita Diet,
Yeah.
including things like Teenage Bounty Hunters, which got 1 season and could have been great, and they just cut it off at the knees. And there's a bunch of stuff like that they cut off. And then there's nothing new on the horizon. Like Cobra Kai is going to come back eventually, and I will reactivate for Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
I will reactivate it for a Ryan Johnson movie. I will reactivate to watch The Last Umbrella
Sure.
Academy, but I don't need to have it on all the time.
Yeah, but that's not the same as keeping it active. Like,
Yeah,
And
just to see what else on Netflix. Almost, it's been a long time since Netflix has had the movie library I wanted, frankly.
Yeah, no. And then 2, they are reportedly one of the biggest voices against the WGA strike.
Well, I was
Yeah.
about to say, technically, if we're saying that Schwarzenegger has now done television, that changes a lot of things in the strike negotiations. Because I'm pretty sure Netflix isn't television based on
Yeah.
union pay scale.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I feel like
Eh.
that's one of their loopholes.
Yeah.
well,
And-
Netflix is
and-
the one that's been taking advantage of these
Are
loopholes.
they television? Maybe
the,
they
the
are.
most and for the longest.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and I think they may be worried that they can't survive without it because they've been throwing god awful amounts of money at terrible projects, and they're like, oh, we might actually have to pay some attention to what we're doing here if we have to pay our people.
Yeah, well, I mean, they pay money for big names and stuff like the
Yeah.
Red Notice movie. They paid a bunch of money for, but
Mhm.
Yep.
rather than try and balance out like paying those people like The Rock and maybe Ryan Reynolds on $1 million less a piece and paying their
Yeah.
writers,
Yeah.
like they just don't want to make the deal for like it feels like there's a math that well you could do it, but it wouldn't be it the inconvenience.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it feels like that if who knows, maybe that the strike will I really think the strike is going to end with at least some sort of deal going through.
Oh, I do too.
So they're gonna compromise on some point. I don't know what the
Yeah.
fuck they're thinking they're gonna do, but they're gonna have to bend at some point, and maybe that will break them. I don't think it will. I think they'll go
Yeah.
chugging along just like they have been,
I agree.
and everyone will go, "Well, you could have survived with like
What'll
every
be
other
curi
strike."
I'll be curious to see if they roll back this password sharing, because I know they did the math, and
I
their
don't think they
accountants or
will.
whoever are telling them they're like, yeah, you're gonna gain more people paying for it than you do lose people who aren't. I'm like, I don't know if that math is true, but I guess we'll see.
It doesn't look like they're going through with the we're just gonna auto bill you for the extra people, which
Mhm.
was like a what the fuck? No.
So they're banking on people who haven't paid for Netflix in decades to
Yeah.
all of a sudden like, "Oh, well, now that my parents or my cousin doesn't have that Netflix account, I'm gonna get it." Okay, I would not
Yeah. Now,
I would not roll the
No,
dice on that.
not rolling the dice on that. No.
now that our selection is worse, it's more expensive and a pain in the ass, and we're unethical bastards. Now we can really rake it in.
Well, also, people are lazy. People are like that. We're paying. I'm not paying for the money. I'm paying for the convenience of not
Yep.
having to go out and torrent shit.
Yep.
Like
Right.
I
Yep,
could
I
do
would-
it.
Like, do you understand like how far down the convenience scale that is? Like,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it killed like Netflix's plan of shelling out insane amounts of money for like a Red Notice.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed watching Red Notice, but
Me
did
too, sure.
anyone on the planet without Netflix go, fuck, I got to turn Netflix on this month? Red Notice. No,
Yeah.
not a breathing soul on
Yeah.
earth did that.
Yep.
And I think honestly, people are gonna turn off Netflix. They're gonna look over at a free service like Tubi,
Mhm.
who has been curating a better and better selection of whole houses of movies.
Yep.
And like, so that I'm constantly going over to Tubi and finding like not just two-headed shark movies, but like a range of shit that I'm like, holy crap, this is really fun. Like there's been several times recently where I'm wanting to watch an 80s movie or something, and I'm like, wait, is Tubi where all the fucking Hunger Games movies are? Is Tubi where all my 80s movies are?
If you're Netflix, isn't the strategy to just not lose subscribers?
Right.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
Netflix at this point, you have the subscribers you got. Like you're not
Yeah,
convincing anyone.
No.
So you're
Yeah.
just trying to keep people there. Like, am I not? Again, with Max going around, I'm like, do I not know how streaming services run?
I'm in
Or
the same boat. Max is the same thing. It's like, wait a minute. None of this makes any sense. Is there a weird bizarro is this just executives being stupid? Or is there some bizarro logic we're just not seeing?
I
don't
really
know.
don't think it's
I don't know.
three-dimensional chess.
I don't either. I think it's one-dimensional checkers. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, Fubar, don't waste your time. And honestly, Netflix right now, don't waste your time. But there were a couple big finales this week. I watched Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which technically ended last week, but I watched it this week, and I thought the finale was fantastic. In this final season, they did a lot of jumping through time. They showed that her and Susie had a falling out, and then they resolved it, which I thought was really smart. The ending is very upbeat. It's very much exactly what you want from these characters.
Oh, that's great.
It's they really nailed it, and they give her a moment. They give her like the big moment that is equivalent to the moment when she gets on the stage in the pilot. They give her that basically a finale moment that is
Oh.
the equivalent of that. So
I was gonna say
they
because
they really
Amazon
brought it home.
Prime it's a good. I'm glad they resisted going prestige bummer. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
No, and yeah, and I was worried they were gonna, because they definitely were showing like her kids maybe didn't like her that much, and they had yeah, but there's a weird. Do y'all remember the Mad About You finale?
Vaguely.
So
Yes.
the Mad About You finale has Janine Garofalo, then young Janine Garofalo, playing the daughter, and she starts off basically bad mouthing the parents and talking about what a crazy mom her mom was, and basically, and then like Paul and Jamie break up, and there's this whole thing, and I was like, this is a fucking dark way to bring a sitcom in. But
Yeah.
they bring it all around at the end to sort of like show that she did, she loved her parents did it right by her, and then Paul and Jamie are okay together and all that kind of stuff. And Mrs. Maisel did much the same thing. They didn't shy away from, hey, life is hard, and they had some difficulties throughout life, but end of the day, these people love each other and they're going to be okay. And I think that that's the way to do it. On the other side of the coin, I watched the Barry finale, and I won't spoil it because I know Nick, you're going to watch it at some point.
Well, I tried to catch Randy. I fucked up this week. I tried to catch up because I was like, oh, I'll catch up and I'll talk the finale with Randy. And
Yeah.
I got to what I thought was the penultimate episode yesterday, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
oh, I'll save the last one and I'll be fresh today.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't count the episodes as I was watching them, so I
Uh-huh.
thought I thought the time jump.
Oh, yeah. No, there's like 3 more episodes.
There's 3 more episodes after the time jump. I was like,
Yep.
fuck.
Yep.
So I got an episode after that's like the fucking farmhouse or whatever.
Yes.
But wow, that was fucking
Yeah.
weird.
It's dark. It is perfect. It's funny. It's
Man,
very
I'm bummed out about NoHo Hank and
Cristobal.
Cristobal, or what's his name?
Cristobal.
Cristobal.
Yeah.
That I was rooting for them.
That
Like,
that plays very heavy into the finale and in a really good way. They really nailed it. Like they brought this in for a landing. They did the same thing they've been promising. It's funny, when it first started, Barry was like this dark comedy, and as it went on, it became darker and darker and less comedy. And I feel like that worked for it.
man, Barry is not a good person.
No, he's not. No, he's a
Like, minus the killing people stuff. Like, minus that. Like, just like really selfish and fucking over his friends immediately.
Yep.
I for some reason I felt bad that call with NoHo Hank where he's trying to ask him for help. I'm like, you piece of shit, you're informing on the FBI to him. And NoHo Hank stands up for himself, like, you just well, you tell him, Hank. Like, you're making me agree with the Chechnyan mobster.
Yeah,
Like,
NoHo Hank is really the lead of this whole thing. He's the
I feel like he deserves a happy ending, and I'm scared to see what happens to him in the finale.
Yeah. Anyway, that's there were 3 great finales this week. I didn't watch Succession. I haven't watched Succession. People say it had a great ending. Maybe some year I'll watch it. Maybe when the writer's strike is in its 2nd month or 3rd year or whatever it's going to be, I will go back to Succession. But probably not. I don't care about rich people and their lives. But Ted Lasso also finalized this week, and I thought we will talk about that for dessert. But I, in short, thought it was perfect.
I can't imagine how much I would have cried if the show was good.
That's the joke that Les made when I got on earlier.
Damn it.
He's like, wow, can you imagine if that'd been good, how much we would have loved it? Fuck all the critics, man. Fuck them all. I saw a Variety piece today that was about, it's like, oh, the last season of Ted Lasso was interminable or something like that. I was like, oh, fuck you. I'm going to be in ATX this weekend, and I know there's be critics there. And if I talk to somebody and I'm like, oh man, Ted Lasso was great, they'll be like, I just didn't like 3rd season. I'm like, all right, bye. I don't even talk to you. We can't talk TV anymore.
No, it's going to end up in a straight up fight.
And that is what I watched. Those are my appetizers. What about y'all?
Oh man, me and Les. Jeez, we took ourselves to class. We went to school this week, didn't we?
We did. We got schooled. Mark Lester schooled us.
Class of 1984, class of 1999, and class of 1999 2, The Substitute.
Not to be confused with The Substitute, which is a whole other franchise.
Yes, I know the Substitute franchise, sadly. What are you guys talking? What is this?
So, I saw it on Tubi as Class of 1999, and I just thought it was a standalone movie with Pam Grier in it. And I was like, hell yeah. And some kid that's definitely not, what's his name from fucking...
Steven Dorff? No.
Not he's the love child of Steven Dorff and Corey Feldman.
Yeah, no, like
wow.
you too.
Yeah.
So you're watching this movie and you're like, oh, thank God that this didn't go to Feldman. I don't know what he was doing this year, but I'm so glad that we got this kid instead.
I'm glad that we got this kid because Corey Feldman was definitely not available.
Yeah, he is to Emilio Estevez what Dorff is to Depp.
So it's a future, movie where, kids are in gangs, schools are riddled, like they have a metal detector outside school and people are just bringing machine guns that they get back after school is done. They give them a receipt.
Like a coat check. Yeah.
Like a coat, yeah. So like the gangs are so bad. It's one of those, kids are dangerous, ooh, boomer afraid movies, right?
It basically opens like Escape from New York with the year is 1999 and
Yes.
alt crime is so that all areas around schools are free fire zones where the cops have no jurisdiction.
But
It's
they still
insane.
somehow all go to school.
Right, but somehow all these delinquents actually show up.
I mean, here in 2023, the notion of schools being free fire zones it's a little different.
It's way
I know,
different. Yeah,
it's-
yeah. Like the school itself being dangerous outward is like completely insane.
The 80s are so afraid of children.
Oh my
They're
god.
so afraid of kids. Like,
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah,
they
I
send
mean-
basically like an OCP-3 androids into the school. Pam Grier's one of them.
yes.
To educate, and Stacy Keach with a bleach mullet and weird contact lenses is the head of the robotics program. And come to find out, like you do, he just repurposed military droids for educators. And you
Mhm.
get a great moment of their little screen just literally flickering between educate and war.
Eliminate the enemy.
And they land
and then
on
back
war.
to educate. And
Yeah.
it's basically the rest of the movie is them killing one by ones until they get tired of that and start to mass kill some of the students. And it ends with a weird message of like, well, thank God we're a bunch of gang kids and have access to a bunch of guns, so we can
yeah,
defend
it's a good thing we're
ourselves.
delinquent because we were right.
Because we were right and fuck authority. And I'm like, oh, that's a different message than these movies usually have.
It's also great. Like, there's a whole act where like one or two kids know that like they watched a teacher kill somebody, and when they tell everybody else, they're like, well, I mean, no, Mr. Harrison sucks, but like,
But he's
not
lame. Like
murder somebody suck. Like he's just lame.
he's
and
more
like,
like
no,
he'll
no,
give you
no.
a pop quiz. Sucks.
Right,
like,
right. That they're like, come on. I mean, like even the other gang members are like, yeah, fuck them teachers. They're fucking. Well, I mean, come on. They're not like murderers, dude. Back up. It's oh man, weird. So we watched that one first, and then discovered upon looking up what the shit is this that there's 1984 class of 1984 a prequel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, made first, so this is the sequel.
Yeah, but 1999 is the unofficial sequel. The first one is basically what we thought the movie was going to be. The kids are the dangerous ones. It's the flip. It's the new teacher against a bunch of gang kids in 1984.
And he knows that they're fucked up, like they do a bunch of really crazy shit, and he can't prove any of it. And so he goes vigilante on kids.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, the third act is very much Charlie Bronson, like Death Wish if he was murdering children.
I can't stress enough the lack of cyborgs in Class of 1984. Like, it is not a sci-fi movie. It is just a movie. And it makes it so much darker. Like, I
Yeah.
kept looking at Nick, was like, they need to walk a robot across the screen just to lighten
It's not
this the
very
fuck
fun.
up. Otherwise, that man is just attacking children.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
Yeah, it's not
great. I mean, they do rape his wife in an unnecessary scene. So
Yeah,
Good Lord.
that movie is like I think there's two actresses in the list of it who that's their last film. One of them it's one and done. That was her first in life. Like she was good on
Makes
the entertainment
sense.
industry after making that movie. Yeah, it's not great.
Well, I'm glad they structured the scene around her not wanting to get naked. Her character doesn't want to get naked, so it sells. Yikes.
Right. Yeah, it's not great. And then there was Class of 1999 2, which is just a great title.
Speaking of lack of cyborgs, now, I don't want to spoil 1999 2 for anyone, but the twist of that one is that, well, one of the cyborgs has survived the 1999's movie and is now going around schools just killing one by one and then mass killing and then moving on to another school. But, surprise at the end, he's actually not a cyborg. He's just wearing bodyproof armor and thinks
And
he's
he's
a
delusional.
cyborg.
Yeah, he's just nuts.
He's the kid of Keach's character in the 1999.
Oh, 1999 had McDowell, Clockwork Orange.
Oh, yep, Michael McDowell. He shot his shit in 2 days.
Yep.
So he's not in it a lot, but he's in it.
Technically.
Yeah, but that was that was our higher education for this week. What else did we educate ourselves on?
Oh, well, we learned Shazam's name.
Oh my God, Shazam 2,
I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but it's Shazam.
Wrath of the Gods.
So y'all watch Shazam?
Shazam 2, Wrath of the Gods, Fury of the Gods.
So
Fury.
Shazam 2 is going to make people confused about when the writer's strikes started. History students are going to be confused.
Oh, it's not good. It is quite bad.
Well, one, it's a basic concept of Greek mythology of like, guys, do you know what a god is?
Versus Titans, for like they're the daughters of Atlas.
Because Titans aren't the same thing. They are in fact distinctly different. They are. There's a war between the two of them.
There's so many points where the Titan Maki, like there's so many points where they clearly glanced at a Bullfinch's mythology but did not read the entry.
Ah, yes, the goddess daughters of Atlas. What? Yeah, the god Titan. Okay, you're just putting two words together now.
That's just two words together now. Yeah. Oh man, once again the fucking pitch meeting just nailed it. Like, movie's painful. And man, it's good that they just don't put young Billy in the movie very much, because and I don't know if it's him or Zach Levy, but like
they are not on the same
Shazam
page
as an
at all.
adult is like he took a swift blow to the head or something. Like it.
Yeah.
He's not okay. And like the kid's pretty sharp. Like they've all grown up too much for this movie. It's weird.
Yeah.
Also, the less said about the Skittles commercial in the middle of it.
Oh man. That's right. I had forgotten that. Taste the rainbow.
Unicorns literally tasting the rainbow to save the day at the end.
I don't think I'm gonna watch this.
No, man. And we're not joking. It comes to a full grinding halt for an actual like Skittles commercial. And the director was like, it wasn't a marketing thing. We just, and like, no, Skittles has already used the clip in its entirety as a commercial. It is definitely a marketing thing. They saw it that way.
Did y'all watch Black Adam? I can't remember.
I did.
Yes. Yeah, I did. Yeah.
And is this better or worse than Black Adam?
That's a good question. I would say Black Adam is better just because it has less characters to bounce around.
I feel like somehow I don't watch either of these, but Black Adam is the better.
That's the answer I was expecting.
It's more consistent. Like you won't be as confused watching it. Like, what the fuck are they do? The Mary Marvel is, I don't know what they're doing with her in this movie.
Like, I grew up in rural Northeast Texas and went to a lot of county fairs and bullshit. And there was a competition at county fairs of cow pie tosses, which is a really sun-dried, cracked patty of cow turd that you could throw like a frisbee. And the important thing is that they be really, really dry, because otherwise that is like wet cow shit. Both of them are wet cow shit. One of them is just throwable like a frisbee, right? That's the difference.
That one's more fun.
There,
yeah.
No, but I'm saying like Black Adam, you could actually like pick up and throw at your cousin, and Shazam you shouldn't touch. It's not good.
Yeah. Also, I don't think any of the Shazam kids, even in their grown-up forms, should be so hot that it's distracting. And I'm talking about Pedro. We're talking about Pedro. He's too hot. He's too fucking hot. It's not right. Like every time I have to keep going, that's a child. That's a child. That's a child.
It's the joke in The Goods. Like it is Catherine Hahn's bit in The Goods of like, who's to say who's wrong?
But who's to say what's wrong?
You would
wrong.
be the adult. Yeah. You're wrong.
Oh shit, that's right. Damn it.
Man, at one point, Mary Marvel gets drunk as like
they show her hungover
and is hungover as a Marvel. If turning into the Marvel body doesn't cure a hangover, what are we even doing?
So the studio is just like, no one can figure out anything to do with Mary Marvel that isn't drug addict Mary Marvel. Is that, or
It's
magic
sure
addicted, or whatever the fuck?
Party hound Mary Marvel.
They did the same thing in the comics for a while. She got all naughty and was like in a black mini skirt, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Stop it.
Look, guys, if it happened in Countdown to Final Crisis, don't do it. Please don't do. Nothing was good in Countdown. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
As you know, what's only thing worse than Final Crisis? Countdown to Final Crisis.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I haven't read enough Captain Marvel or Shazam or whatever. But I just picture the Osmonds. Like it should just be Donnie and Marie Osmond and other Osmonds assorted throughout. Like that's the look and like level of like danger to this family. Like,
well, honestly,
never
Shazam.
get dark. I don't want Dark
Shazam,
Willow.
Billy should be younger. He should be 8. Because then
Yeah.
Zachary Levi would read as the right age, rather than, what
Oh
is
my
this
God.
teenager doing? Like, if
Oh
he
my
was 8
God.
years old, you'd be like, oh, okay, sure. He's a little weird.
He's
but
such an idiot.
Yeah.
Like Adrian or Adam Brody at least like gets it.
yeah, his act. Yeah, as far as the actors acting like the kids, Adam Brody is probably the best one of like, oh yeah, him and the kids read as the same fucking person.
Yeah.
The youngest sibling, the girl.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, yeah. She also
Her
reads
adult
pretty
actress
good.
is getting it right, but that's because she has the youngest kid to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she steals, I think, a kitten in the first part of it and has to return it later.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good.
Weird.
Yeah. So, in short, don't watch Shazam 2.
No.
Okay. I wasn't gonna, and now I won't.
Also, don't watch Dangerous Game.
The Legacy Murders?
The
What?
very same.
What?
It's a
But
John
it has
Voight
John Voight.
and
That is not a selling point here. in
Jonathan Rhys
2023, y'all.
Myers.
Oh no.
You're just making names. You're just stringing names together.
We had at one point saw a couple like one of the Riley from Letterkenny is in the
That's
movie.
who else is in it. Yes.
And he brought his black girlfriend and to introduce to the patriarch played by John Voight, and it cuts away from she greets him, and then it cuts away oddly from his reaction.
Like
It does not show him speaking. And I was like, man, I feel like no matter what they wrote on that line, it did not come across because John Voight couldn't come across as not creepy or weird.
like seriously, there's so
Or
many
maybe
moments
racist,
of like
I don't
I
know.
cannot tell if John Voight is a really good actor here or not trying at all or inadvertently just being this character.
Let me ask you, when was it made?
This past year, he's in a wheelchair.
Oh,
through the whole- I
okay.
don't know if that's his
So
wheelchair or if it's character.
Voight's gone completely around the fucking bend. So
Oh yeah, no,
It-
he's nuts
yeah.
now. So this
No,
thing
we're
in
not
the
even
trailer,
talking Anaconda Voight. Come on.
this looked like poor man's Clue, and
Oh.
it is so painfully boring. Will Sasso's in it. It's still just painfully
At
boring.
a certain point, you just watch people play an actual board game.
Nick and I were like, this feels like a playthrough, like both at the same time. Like, are we watching people just play through a board
Get
game?
out of my brain. I think was the exact quote.
Yeah, terrible, terrible. It's called The Dangerous Game of the Legacy Murders, which is a bad title to start with.
And then as far as separately, I watched a little bit more of ReZero, which is interesting. Still don't know what's going on. And then Killer Sofa, we watched most of it. And
Yep.
I know Les is probably going to do a rewatch because he had other stuff to do at the point, but he got the general gist of it.
Oh, it's
It's-
spectacular.
how does Killer Sofa relate to Deathbed?
Oh, it's much
See-
better than Deathbed.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Patton
It's
Oswalt
actually
can
better
do
than
bits
Deathbed.
about. Yeah, no, Killer Sofa is
Deathbed, the bed that eats? The
The-
bed,
yeah,
the bed that
yeah.
eats dicks, more like it.
the whole taking the piss out of like crime, murder. Like this is stupid, but if you do these musical stings, it still is a crime series kind of thing. That shtick that woman across the street from the girl in the window wanted to do, Killer Sofa pulls that joke off repeatedly.
Okay.
It stunning.
Instead of the man killing his wife and looking over the balcony menacingly, they replace him with a
It's a recliner with googly with button
googly eyes. and it's fucking funny every time.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. Like every time they pull the sofa joke of somebody doing something in the sofa, like suddenly looking at them, it works. Like their joke works every time. When it's peeking over the balcony at him, straight out of a Lifetime movie.
Man, you gotta see
I
the
lost
scene
it.
where he tries to hide the body.
Oh man,
Because the sofa doesn't, like, it leaves body, like, it kills people. It doesn't eat them or anything. It's not the bed that eats. It has to actually hide its victims.
yeah. When it breaks into an apartment, the guy's on the second floor and he's like shutting a window, and all of a sudden there's a chair spring,
A box spring, yeah.
like doom under the
Ting,
window,
ting, ting.
and like two springs under the ridge of the windowsill, and like pick the window up. And then the chairs. He's on the second floor. It's insane.
Also, interesting use of Jewish mythology. As
Oh, yeah,
far
it's
as,
a
the
dybbuk.
dybbuk.
Yeah. It's like I was like, oh my god, are you telling me Killer Sofa is the thing is a recliner, but whatever. But you're telling me that Killer Sofa is one of the like rare entries in the Jewish horror canon?
Next up, Golem Ottoman.
What else? I think is that everything for you, Nick? What else you got there, Les?
Let's see. Watch some Parks and Rec. Soups and Lois. You'll be happy to know that Lois is through her chemo, and they're about to bring down Bruno Mannheim.
Sure.
She's gonna have a double mastectomy, I believe. So it's been a dark season of Soups.
Yeah,
and Lois.
yeah.
Okay. I guess
So,
CW.
right? Watch The Bone Woman on Shudder, which is a really creepy movie about a woman who gets pregnant and does not want to be. Definitely worth checking out.
I think that's the boned woman. That's not the bone, right?
Right? Yeah. No, you're thinking of the you're thinking of the knockoff. Much shorter movie.
That's the porn.
The also watched. It's over on Shudder. It has another name, but yeah, if you search for Bone Woman, worth a watch. I definitely want to look for what the director does next. 99. Yeah, we already talked about those. Watch Miss March, which is terrible.
Holy shit.
Oh my God, there are no female characters in this movie. It is the only other movie by Zach Kreger, who wrote and directed Barbarian. It is his movie he made right after Whitest Kids You Know stopped. So it's him and Trevor Moore, who's since passed.
Yeah, I love that. It's bad. That's so disappointing.
I mean, it has moments of like where scenes like it has some comedy scenes that work where like, okay, that joke worked and that joke worked. But overall, like the structure of the movie, it needed to have come out 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah, look, it's not that bad for a 1991 movie, right?
No, but it's made in like 2009.
Oh, then that's a problem.
Then that's a problem, right?
Okay,
So,
right.
Also, there are literally there are no female characters in the movie that don't
that have agency or any
agency, and it's got a weird message of like slut shaming, and also a really gross like.
How could you become a Playboy playmate after I went into a coma for 3 years?
Honestly, that's not even the worst part. Like the body shaming, medical shaming of Craig Robinson's character is
because he doesn't have a penis.
Sean Young, Ace Ventura level gross and bad. Really, really painfully bad movie.
Too bad.
Do you mean he was lying? He was lying because he doesn't have a penis? Like, well, he's a black rapper. Yeah, he would definitely have to lie about not having a penis.
Craig Robinson plays so like the kid, whole gist of the movie, Zach Kreger's character is supposed to have sex with his girlfriend on prom night, and they've been doing abstinence lectures and saving themselves and shit. And he falls downstairs at a party and goes into a coma for 4 years. And when he wakes up, she's a Playboy playmate.
Okay.
And he his friend who's gross and obsessed with Playboy decides to take him to the mansion, and he's gonna still get to lose his virginity to her. And to get into the mansion, they hook up with Craig Robinson, who was trying to be a rapper when he went into the coma and is the biggest artist in the world at this point. And his name is Horsedick.mpeg.
Wow.
.mpeg.
Yeah. Anytime anybody calls him Horsedick, .mpeg.
Yeah. I believe the writer and singer of the hits "I'm a fuck a white bitch."
Yes, I'm a love a white bitch is the radio version.
That's the radio. Well, it's radio version. I mean, for the kids.
And yeah, so he gets them into the, but it turns out at the end of the movie that the twist is that he does not have any genitalia, just 2 tubes sticking out.
Okay.
And they show it, and everybody laughs.
And that's the gag of like, aha, you said you slept with a bunch of women, but you haven't because you can't because you have a penis. I'm like, okay, well, there's 2 lesbians that are a big part of this plot-wise, not a big part character-wise. So then they have sex without a penis all the time. So it's not like he lied about having sex. He could have definitely had sex without the penis. I guess that depends on what. It's a way more subtle and complex conversation to have that this movie is not willing to do.
No, it does not.
But also, there's a good premise in there of, hey, would a black rapper have to in the 2000s have to lie about not having a penis or a medical condition that he would be, that would make him look unmanly? And I'm like, oh yeah, you could have a whole thing where he, like Les, you were saying, like he could have his go-girls that are on each of his arms, like they're in like on the gag with him. Yeah, they're his cover.
Some movie somewhere will explore toxic masculinity and hip hop. This is not that movie.
No.
At all.
That's a bummer. I mean, I'm glad you guys warned me off of it because it was one of those things. After seeing Barbarian and loving Whitest Kids You Know, I would have gone in for this, and now I won't.
And there's it sucks because like they're not untalented filmmakers. Like
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. No.
occasionally they hit a visual gag just right, and it's great. And then you get back into like the gist of the movie and go, oh God,
Well, the
Yeah.
thing is that Miss
that's what
March
we're
isn't
doing.
even a character. She's like,
No.
"Oh, I
Uh,
became a
And it just
playboy to
gets
pay your medical bills."
oh God, yeah. And he's still slut shaming her. It's so fucked up.
It doesn't come down either way on it, but it does imply that she did save herself for him, or at least didn't answer it fully. And I'm like, "Fuck you." She definitely she is not required to sew up her vagina
right.
because you fell downstairs.
Right.
Like I'm not a possession of yours. I can go live a
Right.
life, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Sorry, like the bad guys win at the end of that movie, honestly.
We also watched Legion of Superheroes, the new animated movie, which was really
Okay.
fun. Basically, they they're dealing with like a Supergirl who's been on Earth for about 2 months and really doesn't know how to rein in her powers. You know, we've all had discussions of like how much Superman has to be pulling not just his punches in fights, but you know, pulling a punch all the time. Like he can't
Yeah.
touch anything, even a portion of his strength. And she's just fucking shit up. And Batman flat out pulls Superman aside and like, hey, your cousin is a problem. She can't rein her stuff in, and more, she doesn't seem to really care that she's not reining it in. Like she just thinks Earth is this backwater hellhole. Like she wrecks an apartment building in a fight and tells like there's a bystander that's just crying about it, and she's like, "Have your robots rebuild it?" He's like, "I don't have any robots." He's like, "I don't know, government robots, whatever." He's like, "Any robots? Just a robot. You don't have." Fuck this planet. So Superman's like, okay, cool. We'll just send you to the 31st century.
Yeah.
And that's
Okay.
Earth that you can put up with. And so she goes to Legion training and falls for Brainiac 5, and they have a whole adventure. They don't have the full Legion, but it's fun to see some of the background stuff. Really enjoyed it. Art style took a second to get used to, but I kind of dig it. Not quite like New Frontier. It's got that fat black outline though. It was cool. After that, we watched a bunch of Justice League Unlimited. Watched some Batman Brave and the Bold, and Better Than Shazam 2. Watched Can't Buy Me Love, which has Patrick Dempsey
Yeah.
doing the She's All That, or She's All That's doing Can't Buy Me Love, I guess. Love
Yep.
Don't Cost a Thing. Watched Significant Other, the Jake Lacey movie over on Paramount. Watched that with Nick. That is a fun movie.
No, that's a fun one.
You see an alien land just before this couple's walking off into, you know, a trail off in, I think, Oregon and or upstate Washington, and you somebody gets turned into an alien, and you spend a good portion of the movie trying to figure out exactly who, and it's great. Really fun, worth watching. Absolutely. Jake Lacey, man, that guy is perfect for this kind of role. Trying to figure out if he's a dick or not. Like, wait, are you just kind of an asshole, or are you an alien asshole? We watched Meet Cute, the Kaylee Kuko and Pete Davidson time travel movie.
Oh yeah, I was gonna watch that, and I heard some kind of rough stuff, but now having seen
Man, it's
Bupkis,
dark.
yeah,
It does a couple of things that I you just wish that they'd just not done. It would have been a
Mhm.
better movie for skipping a couple of plot things, but it is much less a rom-com and much more about suicide and depression and
Well,
like keeping a
let
friend
me tell you
alive
this.
kind of shit.
Have you
Hmm.
ever seen a Groundhog's Day movie where the premise was she's Groundhog's Daying herself and choosing to live in that day every time, every
Oh,
day?
That's what she's doing.
oh wow.
She's
Yeah,
lived out a
like
bunch of other futures and she was ready to kill herself, and so instead she's just having a really good date every day,
Oh.
every day.
over and over. And so like there's a lot of like, see you tomorrow. What? Nothing. Oh man.
Interesting.
It
Okay.
it when it works, it really works. There's a couple of just hilarious, just great. I love their like, so why haven't you used the time machine to kill Hitler? And she's like, I
Eh,
can't get all of them. I mean, I took care of Smithson. Like,
who?
who the fuck is exactly?
You're welcome.
Oh,
You're welcome.
that's funny. I
Like
mean,
there's they do some fun
I
shit, but it's dark,
I
man.
I love a good time loop, but honestly, after Palm Springs, I'm not sure anybody should make anymore. Like they nailed the rom com time loop
Yeah,
with
no,
Palm
this one's
Springs.
not a
So
rom com, really.
As
She's
far
okay,
as
creepy, man.
dark and also dark undertones to the Groundhog Day thing, yeah, it's not quite as good as Palm Springs, so that does it a disservice of coming out so quickly
right.
after that. But
Well,
it's definitely worth a watch.
like you get
Okay.
arguments of like two people who know about the existence of a time machine threatening to go back in time. Like, well, you told me about that thing that happened to you when you were a kid, so I'm just going to go back and change your childhood and make you a different person. Like, the fuck you will. Don't do that.
Don't do that. I'm doing it.
Like, no, I'm just going to go back and take away. Like, no, you leave my trauma alone. You don't.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's got some insane moments in it. And then I also watched Long Shot, trying to psych myself into watching Platonic.
Right.
Man, I really enjoy that movie. It really, not a lot of stakes, nothing happens. O'Shea
Interesting.
Jackson remains fucking amazing in every role. And I really do like Seth Rogen.
I watched Long Shot a few years ago, and it did not move the needle for me at all.
I mean, it's not great, but it's
watched-
cute. Charlize Theron trying to negotiate a hostage thing while stoned as fuck on Molly.
There's some fun stuff, but I feel like it's kind of like Adam McKay. Whoever the guy is just Neighbors and did this and did.
I couldn't make it through Neighbors. I tried to watch it afterwards and I didn't.
Man, it is a vibe that does not work for me.
O'Shea Jackson, any movie he's in, I'm down for. You know I love myself some OJ. Oh wait, nope, that should not be his nickname.
Nope.
Nope.
I feel like we watched something else with Rose Leslie in it, but maybe that's right. That was a while back though.
That was we didn't end up telling Randy about it because I was nervous. I was like showing, it was one of the ones I was showing Les. I'm like, oh, you've never seen Spy? I gotta show you. Jason Statham's hilarious in it. And then we watched the first half hour of it, and I was like, fuck, this is the worst out of all the movies. This is like the worst moments of Melissa McCarthy movies.
I'm misremembering this. I fucked up. This movie's, and then Jason Statham stepped on screen, and he's making fun of, like, he is definitely just doing a piss take of his own characters.
Yep, that was my take. I saw Spy, and this is my take.
And like every moment he's on screen is magic. And then he leaves, and you're like, "Wait, why did the color go out of the room?"
Come back.
What?
Yeah. Melissa McCarthy is. I don't like Melissa McCarthy movies. Spy is a rare exception, and it's almost entirely down to Jason Statham and Peter Serafinowicz.
Well, also the improvisation comes down to her being mean halfway through. She drops it and becomes I'm going to pretend to be this mean bodyguard, and it's like, oh, mean is better for you. It has more intention and bite than this
just
weird
her rambling and being
like,
sad.
Oh, I don't know. I'm sort of shy, and I'm going to say some stuff.
The funniest moment of the thing is Serafinowicz at the end dropping it and having like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm MI6, and I've had to put on. You know what? Maybe I've perhaps
I get lost in my characters every once in a while.
Or do I?
Yeah.
Well, I make a habit of doing things that people say I can't do. Walk through fire, water ski blindfolded, take up piano at a late age.
All right, so just a reminder, you can support us by going over to patreon.com/tvdudes. Throw us $1 an episode. In exchange, we get to keep up with streaming services. Even unless they all, fuck off like Netflix and Max are doing, and pay for our hosting costs, and you get bonus content each week. This week, we're going to go back and talk about F9. We never talked about that together. It's insane.
I went back. There is an episode where you and me are talking about it.
Yeah. Okay. So you and I talked about it, but Les is not weighed in. So we're going to talk about F9 this week. That is the Fast and Furious 9
refueled.
Yes, Fast 9 refueled. All right. Let's have our main course, and let's talk about Primo over on it's on Prime, but it's from Freevee, which means you get a few ads. But I burned through this in an afternoon.
Primo brought to you by Hyundai.
Yes. So this is about a San Antonio teenager who he's got a single mom and 5 uncles, all of whom are crazy in one way or the other. It is Mike Schur and Morgan Sackett are executive producers. And this has an energy of a Mike Schur show, but it is actually by Shea Serrano, who I believe is a San Antonio guy, maybe a comedian and writer. And when I posted about this, a bunch of my friends are like, "Oh, he's also written for The Ringer, and he's written some books about rap and basketball and that kind of thing." I had a bunch of friends be like, "Oh yeah, I know Shea Serrano," so there's that. This is super funny and super clever, and it really gets going pretty well, I thought.
Yeah, I wonder. Is there a production team, Mike Schur, like if you sign on, because Mike Schur will lend his name to shit, and I'm pretty sure that's how this got made.
Yeah.
Because it's a Latino family kid story, and I'm like, yeah, I bet you they had to twist some arms in order to get that.
Yep.
And without Mike Schur's name, this would not be anywhere even close to like Freevee or Prime or anything like that.
Right.
But I do agree with you. There is an energy. I'm like, yeah, it's not a Mike Schur show. The rhythm is different. But there is an energy that's the same as what's the Ed Holmes, Ed
Oh
Helms
yeah,
one.
yeah. The
Rutherford.
one that
Rutherford Falls. Like,
Yeah,
there's an energy of like, I wonder
I
if that's the cinematographer, is she,
I
or the.
I I think Schur may have deliberately decided he's like, you know what? I am a white guy who's done well in this industry. Let's use my voice to help promote some creators who are maybe not white men, because that's what
I think
Rutherford
so.
Falls
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
and that's a
Yeah.
great mission, and that's so Mike Schur. I mean, it feels like the kind of thing Mike
This
Schur would do.
so
Mhm,
Primo
mhm.
snaps for me better than Rutherford Falls. Like
Yeah,
it's just
agreed.
it moves so quick and is so sharp.
Yes,
Part of it is the mom being as nuts as the brothers.
yes,
Like the realization that like it isn't like they're telling Rafa crazy stories from before he was born or something.
no,
He's
no,
like when she started like, hey, remember that time that they talked me into shaving that weird dog and it turned out to be a skunk? Oh yeah, it's Stinky Barbecue. I was so drunk. And
yeah,
like
that's
that is
great.
her admitting being embarrassingly drunk at a barbecue that your kid remembers. Like, oh yeah, I remember
I'll
Stinky
tell you,
Barbecue.
when that really turned for me was episode 4 with Game Champ, when
Game
Oh
Champ.
yeah,
she's supposed to be the adult in the room, and he's like, "You're into this?" She's like, "I want to play Game Champ," which is
I was
clearly
like,
a dangerous game.
right.
oh
When
yeah, like she's
like,
like,
oh no, we can't
I
play.
kind of want
I
to play
can't
Game
lie to
Champ though.
I can't lie to the cops again.
Can't lie to the cops again.
But and
Ah,
she's immediately up, yeah, but I kind of want to play again too. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's just more put together and can get shit done.
yeah,
And I think that's more because she's scary than anything.
yeah.
Like you will make this you will put happiness in this
It-
home, or I will slit your throats.
right. It feels like in Community when they add the like, is it Paget Brewster? Is that who that is? In Community
Yeah,
when they add
yeah,
like the super serious like get shit done spreadsheet
yeah,
boss, and for an episode she seems like the responsible adult, and then as soon as she goes off campus for a minute, another like normal person is like,
yeah,
what is wrong with you?
What
yeah,
is
yeah,
what is your
yeah,
deal?
And like the realization that like, oh god, the mom is as nuts as any of them.
yeah, yeah. The uncles are all such great characters.
Oh man, each one
They-
of them.
Each one of them is great in their own way. The way they interact with each other. Did you guys get to the part where one of them strands the other on the roof yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my
10
God.
years of don't get involved with vengeance, man.
10 years ago, I started 3 hours into that rooftop. I was planning my revenge.
Yeah. So I talked her into getting Satellite 8 years
Like
ago.
TV. I couldn't afford $80 a month, but it was worth it.
Like, was it?
Yeah, this has Always Sunny energy a little bit sometimes. Like oh my God, these people are nuts and they are just torturing each other.
Like, I threw that in the trash can. How did you get that piece of paper? Or no, like, why did you get it out of the trash can? What were you doing in the trash can? Well, I was gathering up partially eaten chicken wings. You know, when most people eat a chicken wing, they only eat like half the meat. So if you gather enough of them up, that's a whole meal. Gross.
God.
Like, just all the weird language misunderstandings.
Mm-hmm.
It just absolutely cracks me. Like their interactions and constant arguments, just awesome.
Yeah. Did you I can't remember, did you get to the part about Dre's cooking yet, or is that later
Yes,
on?
no, that's
Nope,
early. That's
yeah,
the second
that's
episode
pretty
of the
early. I
barbecue.
think that's second episode.
I thought that was
yeah.
second episode. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's, man, that is legendary of
Like,
like,
no, it doesn't just taste bad. You can't like because of you now, half of us are gonna die.
they said there's digestive consequences.
Yes.
Like it'd be one thing if we just I love when people try and taste it, they have a immediate like a autonomic response of they just throw it across the yard. No.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know
mad
why
at
I
it.
did that.
Yes.
Like, no, like scolding it.
Do y'all have a favorite uncle?
Rolly.
I think
I mean,
Rolly
Rolly's the one in and out of jail. He's a good call. I gotta tell you, I kind of like which is the one who's got-
Mondo.
Mondo.
Their weird hippie guy is great. Who's the guy who has
Yeah.
the job? Who's the guy who has the
Oh.
roofing company in the? Is
Yeah,
that
Oh, the one
Mike?
with the irrigation company.
Yeah.
No,
Is that-
Mike is the soldier.
Mike's
Mike's the soldier.
soldier.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Damn, I can't think who
God
has the
damn it.
irrigation company.
So I'm looking.
Ryan is the
Eddie? No.
accountant.
Shit, I'm blanking.
No, Ryan.
Ryan
no,
is-
Jay's the account. No, Jay. It's Jay.
Jay.
Man,
That's
Because
it.
he's
Jay-
the only reason I remember his name is because, man, I'll tell him about your secret Tinder account. I've been catfishing you. You're Jay. I didn't even change my name, bro. That's on you.
Yeah. This, like I say, this has Always Sunny energy. It's got a little bit of that. Remember Ed? Remember the show Ed?
Oh, I do. Yes.
there was something about Ed that I
The
really
Warren
liked.
Cheswick experience. I've interviewed
the-
Justin Long and brought that up.
The running bet about I bet you $5 for this feels like Uncle shit. Like
Mhm.
these guys
Yes.
have long held grudges and private jokes and things they've done to each other, and it just keeps happening.
Man, I bet I could punch a hole through this deck.
Yes.
No chance.
Oh,
And when
right,
he looks
okay,
at her
we'll
and it's
fix
like, I wrecked your car. I know you wrecked my car. I was in it. I broke both my arms.
it.
No,
I'm talking
no,
about
no, no.
before
I'm talking
that.
about a long time before that. Yo, that was my car. Well, you can't be mad either. Somebody else go.
Well, cool. Someone else. And then I love she at the very end of that, like she's like, "Well, have you ever lied to us?" And
Nope.
of course, because the mom is
Nope.
the mom is not as more responsible than them, really. Like,
Yep,
or
yep.
I guess she is slightly more responsible. She has a kid and everything, but she
Yeah.
is like, "Nope, I have never lied to you, and I never will."
Yep. After we've seen the flashback of her lying to every single one of them. Yes.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I totally
Yeah.
believe you.
Also, the lead kid in this, Ignacio
great.
Diaz Silveira, does he give you a little bit of like Hispanic Tom Holland vibe?
Yep.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
like he's.
I was gonna
great
say
here.
Asa Butterfield, but
Yeah, that too. But yeah,
but yeah, Tom Holland, I see it.
He's fantastic in this. Like, this is a guy I'm like, man, if we didn't already have our Blue Beetle, this guy could absolutely have played Blue Beetle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, he'd be a great Jaime.
Yeah, but
he's gonna do a great job with a thankless because he's got to play straight man to all the not even just the crazy uncles, his crazy mom of like shit, like
it's the Malcolm role. It's the Malcolm and the Malcolm in the
No,
Middle.
and
Although
that's-
Malcolm,
Yep.
yeah,
This gives me big early Malcolm, like first
Yeah.
couple of seasons of Malcolm in the Middle vibes.
yeah.
But it is specifically about a Latino family, 5 uncles, single mom. It's just something different. Like
Yeah.
I say, I think it brings a different voice, but it also just is hilariously funny. This really surprised me. I was watching the first episode and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. And then by episode 2 or 3, I was just in love with it.
Yep. Freevee's
Yeah,
got this and
even-
Sprung. They're coming up on Peacock's.
And
I even like the love interest Maya is
Maya's great,
has,
and-
you know, she's got something interesting. Like she's into fucking German death metal because she
Yes.
was overseas.
yes, yeah. Y'all haven't seen the ending of this. I will say I thought that the way they resolve stuff with Maya and Primo is very sweet and very. It's got that sort of Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine when it turns on the charm, where you're like, oh, I actually care about these characters. It's not just that they're hilarious.
Oh sure.
Yeah. So this is great. I hope we get a second season. I would recommend everybody watch it. It was a big pleasant surprise for me.
Yeah, I'm definitely finishing it.
I once used defibrillators on myself. I put shards of glass in my fucking eye. I've jumped from a high-rise building using only a raincoat as a parachute and broke both legs upon landing. And I still had to pretend I was in a fucking Cirque du Soleil show. I've swallowed enough microchips and shit them back out again to make a computer. This arm has been ripped off completely and reattached with this fucking arm. I drove a car off a freeway on top of a train while I was on fire. Not the car. I was on fire.
Jesus, you're intense.
All right, shall we dive into Ted Lasso for the last
Oh
time?
hells yeah.
So this was the last episode, right?
Yes. Yep. This was it.
No more show.
Until we get Richmond or
Unless they
Which,
decide to do
man,
Richmond,
did they
yeah,
set up
yeah.
a Richmond show or what?
Oh, they absolutely did. Yep. Apple's not dumb. Apple's like,
Yeah.
please let us have more of this show. We'll
Oh
do
my
it
God,
without
I
Jason
want a Richmond show
Sudeikis.
so bad.
Yeah. And if we never get one, this was a great ending. Like 3 seasons,
Oh, it's flawless.
Perfect. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, it wraps every single thing wraps up. So many callbacks. It makes you want to immediately watch the first episode again.
Yep. Yeah.
Because it's an almost
Yeah.
perfect mirror, I think.
Yeah. Also, there's bits of things that I didn't expect that I should have expected. Like they lay in things where I'm like, oh, of course, but I didn't see it coming. And characters come back that I didn't expect to see. The couple that was like the one Harry met Sally couple, they show them moving through the crowd. Like they
That's right.
touch on literally everyone.
They got through every side character they've fucking had in this.
Yep.
Yeah. There was
And-
every like the
They gave us the Ted and Nathan moment we'd all been waiting for.
Mm-hmm. They gave us
Uh,
an amazing Ted and Rebecca.
what I loved
moment.
about that is that Ted is like us. He's like the audience. We don't need him to make a speech.
Yeah.
He just has to say I'm sorry and cry.
Yep, that's it. Oh,
And
by the
having
way,
Rebecca really try to sell him on staying, which was never going to work, but then her
Nope.
stopping and just saying,
But-
please don't leave.
Please. But
Yeah.
her trying to trying to convince him is really just her way of saying,
Yeah.
God, I don't want you to leave. You're one of my best friends.
Her buying a plane
Yeah.
ticket just to get to go past security to say her goodbye, and him going,
Yeah.
wait, but you bought a first
first
class
place?
ticket.
It's like,
First
oh,
Habit.
just
Habit,
just First
yeah,
Habit,
sorry.
yeah. The way this opened, by the way,
Oh,
I love
man.
that they will fuck with you.
That
Like,
fake
they-
out was
they
harsh.
absolutely were like, so like, did
The
they even
hell?
see like that Ted and I was like, oh no. Oh, please tell me you guys didn't shit the bed this late in the game. Please tell me you didn't do this. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
of course they did. They just fucked with us.
Yeah. It's like, God damn it.
And also,
that's-
post-coital morning beard with his
Oh, man, with his
Oh,
dark
boy.
shirt.
underwear.
He
Yes,
believes in a
yeah.
thing called love.
Yes.
Yeah, I still don't like Jane, but their ending was great. They get married
Yeah.
in Stonehenge looking shit.
Yeah, of course they did. Married by the bus driver who was probably high on mushrooms. At the
Oh my
time.
god, or some
Yeah.
kind of frog
Yeah,
poison or something.
Some kind of.
She looks very pregnant.
Yep. Yeah. That was they played. I honestly I thought Beard was going back with Ted. The mirror
Yeah.
the mirror of where they started,
right.
and the way that played out was great, and his absolutely killer fake appendix.
So the only reason I didn't think that Beard might go back with Ted is if they were going to set up a Richmond show,
right.
because it would be Beard and Nate and Roy. I
Yeah.
honestly, I'm glad they made Roy is the sensible choice to be head of the club. Like you can't just
Yeah.
make Nate immediately.
I'm glad they didn't make it late. Yeah, I
Yeah.
could see it because he was head of West Ham, but I'm glad they didn't do it.
Jamie's icon hat becoming ICOG cracked me up somehow. Them having Royal Court for the fines.
Oh, the Royal Court was delightful. I anytime you let Isaac do that bit, like he did it for Christmas,
Yes.
for
Mhm.
Secret Santa, he was he did the barber thing. Like anytime you give that little bit of Isaac, it's always great. And giving him the kick, they faked me out again because I thought he
Yeah.
missed the kick. I was like, oh, they're gonna
Sure.
he missed the kick, and then the reveal was fantastic.
Well, like Les called it as like, and before the thing, and Les said to me, he kicked it through the net, and I was like, no, he didn't.
It's like, no, he kicked it so fucking hard, he kicked it through the net.
Through the
I
net,
love that
and
Higgins like guards his wife like, oh god, any of us could die.
he kicked it through the net and right into the face of the guy that was dating Rebecca.
Yes.
Yes.
And that excites Barbara, who finally gets to see some blood. There's so
Mhm.
many layers
Every
of
time
character
they
here.
ask anything about Barbara's personal life, it gets worse.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you shouldn't ask Barbara anything.
No, God, no. I really thought the way they resolved or didn't resolve Roy and Jamie and Keeley was good.
But they have
Well,
them all
yeah.
sitting there being friends at the
Yeah.
like they
Yeah. I love that they're like we decide you get to decide which one is to pick, and she's like, fuck off, both of you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I was so
And they-
glad
and they
that
were
that
both
went
like,
how I thought,
"Why
because
did
my
we think
gut
that was gonna
reaction
work?"
was I get to choose, then both of you leave, you fucking idiots. And
Yep,
like
yep.
and immediately they're outside of the front porch and
Yep,
Roy goes, "We're
yep.
fucking idiots.
Yep.
You're still
Yep.
in training, but you can
Right.
watch me eat a kebab."
Because it's the only, because what they were like, it's only an idea that sounds smart after you did the dumb thing of fighting over her.
Yeah.
Of like,
Yep.
so like, this sounded smarter than what we did, but that's not.
It's still
like,
not smart. Yeah, it's smarter.
No. And then like they go and eat a kebab, or no, Jamie watches him eat a kebab. Like, I'm gonna eat chicken.
I'm gonna get some chicken.
I'm gonna send him.
I will say the one flaw in this for me, Dr. Jacob, I need to see him out on his ass.
So
'Cause they showed him
the,
being
the
such a
looks that she
dick.
was
He
giving
doesn't-
him and him on his phone. I mean, I assume
Yeah.
he's done, but we didn't get to
So-
see it.
I wanted
We
to
don't.
see
We
it.
don't. We don't see him in the when he comes to
No,
see
he's
his
not
kid.
there.
We don't see. He's not there. He's not at the soccer game. I think we're supposed to infer that. Yeah, that
That he
faded
was
out.
he was
No,
out
I
as
did.
soon as he had to look. As soon as he came in and was like, "Well, great, let's spend the next 2 hours watching a game that will certainly
Was-
end 0-0."
And was such a shit throughout the whole thing, and
Yeah.
she just had no. And Henry gives him the look first, and I think that was
Yeah.
when his doom was sealed. Henry's like, "Fuck this guy," and that was
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's it for him.
Yeah,
But
because
the
she
thing
had
is-
a moment where she looked embarrassed, and I was like,
Yeah.
"You're doomed, dude. You're out."
I need to see it. I needed to see it. I wanted to
Yeah.
see
Well,
her
also, you're
break his
turning me
heart.
into the guy that's like, don't you fucking talk shit about soccer. What have
Yeah.
I become?
Yep,
I know.
Yep.
I'm.
Oh, I love Sharon watching it from her hotel room. I thought that was a nice little bit to see
I
her.
teared
I
up at
love-
Colin and leaving the
Oh, it
ticket
was
for
so
Winona
good.
Judd.
Yep. But the thing that got me the most, man, the thing that just like killed me was the believe sign.
Oh
And
my
I should
god,
have seen it coming.
motherfuckers! It was so cheesy,
But-
and it
yeah.
hit me so
'Cause-
hard.
Yeah.
The
Yep.
footballers are suspicious.
Yep.
Fucking.
It made total sense.
Well, he turns to point to it to finish his sentence, and like,
They're
Yep.
superstitious
Yep.
fucking football players. So
Yeah.
of course they
Of
all
course
kept
they
a
all had
piece of
it.
it.
Yeah.
The only thing that surprised me, I thought Nate was gonna have the last piece.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have made sense.
No, it
yeah,
wouldn't have. I'm glad they
he would have
didn't.
had to have taken it that night.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
glad they didn't, but I thought they were going to do that, or Trent, or something like that. By the way, Trent's book, the dual feedback from
Yeah.
Ted and from Beard was amazing.
Mhm.
I love that
Just
Beard
the
was
immediate
not
feedback from Beard.
well, and
like,
not about
nope.
any facts or quotes,
Derivative.
about
No.
his actual writing style.
Terrible use of prose, and I'm like,
Yep.
Beard,
No,
you're on
it's
the cover
entirely
page,
too
man.
prosaic. Like, you're a page in, man. How can the analogy be
That's
that
the
already?
title. That's the title. I can't be- And then like Lasso laughs like 40 minutes
Yeah,
in or something.
he's like,
was thinking
page
last 42
43?
pages. God damn it.
Roy asking you to be a diamond dog. Holy shit! Like
yeah.
Yeah.
this, so many things about this where it's like it all makes sense, but at no point was it like predictable, which I think is what all the critics have been watching. Like so predictable, and I'm like, man, how's there no joy in your soul for this movie?
Well, and, man, if there's any show that has taught me to like shut up and take the win, like enjoy the thing that's making you feel it's fine. Like,
Yep.
It's this show, and it felt like they were just going down a list of like everything you had to do to have this be perfect.
Yep.
And then they
Yeah.
just did them all.
Yep.
And like it honestly, like, this show feels like sweeping up the spotlight at the end of a Carol Burnett. Like it's
Yes.
perfect.
Yep. Yeah. Everything about it.
Yeah. Rebecca make the team go public or whatever. Like
That was
That was
so good.
wonderful.
Yeah.
the football hooligans each owning a share of it, and
Yep.
then Maeve owning like
A
100
stack.
of them or
Yes.
whatever.
Yep.
And then Randy, you caught something I didn't catch, the Cheers reference there.
Yeah. When May turns, she adjusts the Tecumseh picture on her wall, which I don't know if that's been there the whole time, but that's a reference to the end of Cheers. That is a representation of Coach. That's what Sam does at the very end of Cheers.
Dude, this okay, so I never knew this show, but like this show might actually know what it's doing, because I was gonna say this is trying to be a modern day Cheers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like I feel like that's appropriate.
Yeah. Also, Rupert going full Darth Vader and his like
Oh, that was
sweeping down
amazing.
the and I
I
love
hope his robot leg operation goes well.
I love that. I honestly thought that shitbag Coach was going to injure Jamie. That we were going to see an injury.
Well, yeah, because he's a shitbag.
Is he gonna
And
sweep
why
the
did you
leg? What the fuck?
Yeah.
why did
yeah.
you hire him? He was there when Richmond was
Just-
losing
So
before.
Rupert's
Like,
gone nuts, and there's two more. There's 3 balls
Yep.
on the field.
and it's and I love what he said. Like, yeah, Jamie is doing great. I already got 2 dudes on him.
I don't know what
I
you
don't
want
know
me
what
to
to
do,
tell
man.
you. Like
Yeah.
if he fucking scores a goal, he earned it. Like
Right.
Yeah.
it deserves to win.
Yeah.
And like what do you want me to do? Fucking like sweep the
Yeah.
leg, Johnny? I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
that's it.
fucking
That's
do that.
100%
That's
what he wanted.
insane.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we did not even talk about the callback to Ted making them learn. Was it a Backstreet Boys song or NSYNC?
Yes. Oh my God. That
But
that Sound of Music
callback-
riff.
Yeah, the callback to that and them learning Sound of Music. Oh my god! And
Yeah.
when he said that's perfect, and they go nuts, and you could just feel the like how
Yeah.
how many
Yeah.
100 times have they done that? And Roy gone, it's shit.
Yep. Yep.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
Roy's mouthing
Yeah.
along with them.
Oh yeah, Roy singing all the words. Like, oh, they all go nuts. It's
Yeah.
I.
Yep.
Oh my god, my heart melted.
I honestly thought it was interesting they didn't make a big deal of Jamie saying goodbye to Ted, and then I realized,
Yeah.
well, Jamie's relationship was more in the first season, and then a little bit in the second. This season has been about him,
Him and Roy.
Him and
him
Roy.
and Roy, yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that was moving the father figure to like Roy officially,
Right.
and really just saying thank you at the bar was pretty cool
Yeah.
between them. Like even before, I do love that he's like, so are you guys official? Like, hey, I just thought you'd step aside. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna.
Well, I
do
mean,
that.
if it's not official, then I'm not really stepping in on anybody. Like,
Yeah, and also the big discussion of whether or not people can change was fascinating. Like to have that discussion when we have seen this show to prove that people can change. Jamie changed.
yeah, well, I love that Nate puts the nail in the coffin. Like, no, I feel people can change, sometimes for the worse, sometimes for the better, because
Yep.
he's been through that. Like,
Yep.
no, I was a different person for a minute, and I did not like who I was.
Yeah.
But I like that his idea is that, yeah, and you can change back if you want to. So don't be afraid to change.
Yeah.
There's always a way to go, like, to change back.
We were watching it, by the way, and they do the thing where Isaac's laying down the fines, and he's laying down the fine for Nate, and he's like 5,000 pounds, and Nate's like, that's fair. And the guy, people I was watching were like, how does Nate have that kind of money? I'm like, look, he was the head coach,
And he didn't
spend any of it.
We keep assuming he's lost it. I don't think he spent a dime.
I don't think he spent a dime.
No, everyone else keeps assuming it. I know he hasn't lost
Yeah.
it. He's not a gambler. He doesn't
Right.
spend it on
He
anything.
just eats at Taste of Athens, and he
I
probably
don't
gets an
know.
employee
I
discount
don't know
there.
why he worked at
Yeah.
Taste of Athens. I do not know why he worked with Jade. Like,
Boredom
it's like
and wanted
no,
to be
you
near
obviously
Jade.
don't have to do here.
Yeah. Oh man, and perfect endings. The having it a cookout at the Higginses, and everybody's there, including Gazelle Man, who of course Rebecca runs into, and he has a daughter, and she sees the daughter,
Yes.
and she's gonna be a mom, just like the fucking psychic predicted. Like, it's perfect.
I also like that they laid off the psychic messagery halfway through the season, so
Yes.
that you can like.
Yeah, honestly,
not
if
fully-
they hadn't
Yeah.
backed off of it, I wouldn't have been able to enjoy it lining up
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, it lined up by coincidence.
It's what it feels
not-
like, even
yeah,
though I know
she's-
that's always
Which
there,
is what
but-
all fortune
yeah.
telling is.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
magic. It's not magic, and it was never because they call it out this episode where she's talking to her mom. She's like, make sure and tell her that she's a parasite preying on the weak.
She said you'd say that. Yeah.
Yeah, no
That's
kidding.
a safe fucking bet.
Also, I love her mom. Her mom's incredibly nuts, and her. I've learned to skateboarding. Yes.
Not yet. That reminds me of the super skateboard in fucking Primo too.
Yes.
That's
Oh, the super
like,
skateboard.
But you can't turn like, oh, it's just no. Look, we're not doing the math on this. We're just going to go down. We're going to haul ass down a hill and probably get hurt. Oh, well, then it's perfectly designed.
Yeah, this was I was never nervous about this. I knew they were gonna start after season 3 started. I was nervous at the beginning of season 3, just like I was nervous at the beginning of season 2, that Ted Lasso wouldn't. It's tough to follow up a perfect first season. But by the time we were early into season 3, I'm like, they're gonna nail the ending. I wasn't. There was not remotely concerned about it.
The minute they started to sell me on Nate's turn, I was like,
Yep.
fuck, they're gonna
Yep.
get me.
Yeah,
Like,
they got it. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know anything else to say about Ted Lasso.
No, that feels sad. Like if this is the last time we're gonna talk about the show proper, even if it,
Oh, I
Yeah.
guess that's the thing to talk about. Spinoff. Could they sure as fuck set up that spinoff.
I don't want a million spinoffs. Like, I don't want to see this broken to like
I want-
3 or 4 shows.
I want one.
I just want Richmond. Richmond
Yeah,
AFC.
Richmond.
Well, and women's
Or
Richmond.
whatever,
Like,
AFC Richmond.
Richmond.
I would like that to be the premise of Richmond,
Yeah.
of the women's league versus the men's league,
Yeah.
and which one gets priority now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love that. I would love to see, because they can bring in a whole new cast of people.
Then that's a whole new football crew of characters. Yes,
Yeah.
And a bunch of female characters on the show would be great.
And the other
bet
thing
you
is,
Danny Rojas has a cousin that's female. Come on,
also named
Danielle
Danny Rojas.
Danielle Rojas, but she's a goth. Like football is death as well.
Oh
as
wait, we've already
everything.
had that.
Come
season.
on.
Yeah. I think that they could easily do this. Ted Lasso, he calls it out at the end. He's like, it was never about me.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it's not the Lasso, it's the Richmond way. So yeah, like Ted has had such an impact on everybody here. They don't need the character. They don't need Sudeikis. I mean, Sudeikis was great in this, but you don't need Ted Lasso for Richmond to work.
No.
Yeah, they're all better versions of who they were at the start of this.
Yeah.
They've all been like touched by a special person.
You gotta be a better way to phrase that, man.
That's I tried to like not say it when it was coming up. I'm like, that's the only way I really
Remember,
the
I am inside you all.
That's right.
I just really like the idea that everyone's reaction of like Trent really concerned if whether or not Ted was gonna like it, because he really respects Ted
Mhm.
and really thinks of him as like a colleague and a person to respect.
Yeah.
Probably because it reminds him of his dad too, but like
Yep.
everyone holds Ted in a very like a high regard.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Like they whether or not they aspire to be like him, I think they all like realize that this Yank that came in deserves respect.
Yeah. Well, we got that big reveal toward the end that even Beard, who seems to be like his best buddy and who knows him really well, Beard holds him up above too. Beard is like, this is the guy who saved my life, and when
Yeah.
he didn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
that Ted is a certain like a level of like someone to admire and look up to.
There's a reason Ted has an entourage of ride or die people around him at all times.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Like and it's not because he finds those people, he makes those people.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he forms some
Yeah.
diamond dogs everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
Beard
Yeah.
throwing the water in his face and faking the appendix rupture to get off the plane. I don't know
Other side,
whatever
coach.
happens
Other
next.
side,
That is a
coach.
great start.
So there's definitely a moment in the first episode of season 1 where a stewardess called him and like, oh, what a nice guy. Because the end point of that scene is like, do you want to go to the hospital with your friend? No,
No,
thanks,
I'm
I'm
good.
fine though.
What an
Oh,
arsehole.
what a
Fucking
fucking asshole.
Oh, what a show.
Which is a great line to go out on
Yeah.
for Ted.
Yeah. No, just a delight. And sad as I am to see it go, I love that it went with just a perfect ending.
No,
Uh,
it knew it had its arc. It knew it knew when to do it and how. Like,
Yep. All right, well, that'll wrap it up for us this week. Thank you, Nick. Thank you, Les.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks, Nick.
thanks, dudes.
If any of y'all happen to be coming out to ATX TV Fest this weekend, make sure to say hi to us. And until next time.
TV Dudes out.
You fucking smashed it.
The TV Dudes is an independently run podcast out of Austin, Texas. We are exclusively listener supported. If you'd like to help us out, go to patreon.com/TVDudes.
You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at TV Dudes. All the music for our show is done by our friend and original TV dude Gregory J. Amani Smith.
To find out more about us, go to thetvdudes.com. I'm Randy Lander.
I'm Les Weiler.
And I'm Kyle Scott.
Thanks for listening.